Hello, everyone. Oh, I've been sick. Um, Also just been, when you're sick, when you're sick, um, you have a lot of time to rest and kind of think on things, and um, you know, it gives you a chance to step back because you're taking care of your body, and to do that, you slow down and make sure you're eating better, you're whatever. Um, it gives you that time to kind of reflect, right? Um, so that's why there hasn't been the consistent stream of videos that there was for a little bit. I also am not entirely sure what that's going to look like in the future. Um, I really like doing this, and it's very important to me. Um, but I don't know. Anyway, this video is a reading. Um, maybe that's an announcement that whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Um, People are meant to see this will, and yeah. So with all that being said, right? This reading, I mean, I actually pulled this for myself, and I just pulled this for myself, and then, which I don't usually do. I usually don't pull for myself, and then, although I have noticed that when I do these videos, there's usually some pieces in it that actually help me, in some sort of way. But this, I entirely pulled for myself, and then just felt, like I should share it, I guess. So, with that in mind, let's get into it, I guess. Right now is not an easy time, right? There's some struggles. There's an adversary, right? And whether that be coming from within yourself or outside influence, right? How I see it, there's always some aspect that's internal, right? How we react to the world around us is dependent on us, right? How we think about things, how we see things. So you can always kind of change how you react to something, if you have a different perspective, or if you find a different perspective on it, right? Because you can be very angry at something until you understand it, or at the very least realize that maybe you don't understand it, right? And if you don't understand it, then there's no real reason to be bent out of shape about it, because, well, you're angry at something you don't fully comprehend, which, means there's room for error, I guess. Anyway, but through this, me talking about all that, through this, you have risen above it, right? You have risen above it, or you are in the process of doing that, right? Connecting with yourself, connecting with yourself and your intuition, and looking at things from a higher perspective, right? Being able to see past what is right in front of you, right? Looking to see past that, and or able to see past that and have an understanding that maybe you don't have all the pieces, that you can't see everything. And for that reason, I think a part of this too is just realizing that conflict is a natural part of life, right? And it offers an opportunity for growth, right? It offers an opportunity to rise above, right? If there's never a challenge in your life, I mean, you do see some people that have that, right? People that are never challenged, that are always sheltered, and they end up being rather incompetent a lot of the time when challenges come up because they've never had to deal with it, right? I think you're someone that realizes that challenge can be a great gift, right? Even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment, which it almost never does. But you learn to be comfortable in it, you learn to understand it, you learn to grow through it, right? You learn to grow through it. I honestly do not want to pull tarot on this. And the reason for that is I know my situation, right? I know what this is for me, because of course I did it for myself, and I'm self-aware enough to sit with myself and understand what's bothering me, right? And in doing a video this way, right, I would assume that the people who would find this would also know what it is that is bothering them, right? So I don't want to pull tarot on what this is, because you will know what this is, what you are rising above, and what you are moving through, right? You'll know what this is. You'll absolutely know. No doubt about that. What I could pull on instead is, I know this is kind of I didn't really have a plan going into this because I haven't done a reading like this before. What I can pull on instead is, let's do this deck, which I usually use as a kind of guidepost. Is that the right word? Encouragement, right? Confirmation. Like, I use this deck a lot to see if I'm doing the right thing, or even just what my guides want to say, right? If they want to give encouragement, if they want to nudge me to look in a different direction, right? See something differently. This deck I use a lot for perspective. So let's pull on that, right? A lot of the time when I pull for myself, I usually don't ask, like, sometimes I'll be like, okay, let's talk about this specific situation, right? But a lot of the time I end up just pulling cards, right? Because pulling the cards and seeing them and feeling them brings me, like, without asking a question, right? Because at that point you're pulling, and whatever wants to come through is going to come through, right? And that lets you relax into a kind of it lets you relax in general. It's not tied to a specific situation. You can see what your guides actually want you to see at that moment, right? Yeah, okay. Just that one card wanted to come out here. So Uriel. Oh my goodness. Emotions, healing, devotion integrated are the 4 words there. The red, root chakra, definitely a grounding energy, right? This is just saying you are devoted, right? You're devoted to what you're doing. You're doing well, right? You're supported. You're healing, right? You're in this process of healing, which I think I've kind of I mean, I had this thought today, I guess, but I've had it multiple times throughout my life. Although every time I seem to have it, it's just like, sorry, it's starting to get hot. Jesus. It's like I have the same feeling or thought, but it comes out in clearer words, right? It comes out in a way that's more concise, right? That's less roundabout, more direct, right? Man, I completely lost it. That's crazy. That's really funny with what I was just talking about too. Oh, okay. Yes, with this like higher perspective and this rebirth, right? And looking at things more spiritually and more even logically as well, right? You're very in tune with yourself. You're looking at yourself very directly, right? And that can a lot of the time go, like we can think that that's not healing, right? Healing always has to be emotional and like messy and whatever, right? It doesn't always have to be. I mean, I think that's a part of the process naturally. And obviously, I've been having my share of that too. But thinking things through logically and looking at them from a higher perspective and being able to detach from your emotions and look at things from multiple different perspectives, that is also healing, right? That is a part of the process. That's a part of, right, the journey. At least it has been for me. At least it has been for me. And obviously, if you're seeing this, and this is for you, it would be for you too, right? And what I've noticed is I've shied away from that part of myself a lot. Because sometimes it makes me feel that's not the right way to put it. On a very egoic, like, base level, it makes me feel like very cold and, right, like, very uncaring, unkind, right? Like, the way that I start, like, detaching, looking at things from a, like, higher perspective and those kinds of things, right? But there's a lot of love in it too, right? In trying to understand, in trying to understand someone else, and trying to understand yourself, right? There is so much love in that action, right? There's so much love in the action of detaching from how you feel about a situation and trying to look at it for what it is and what it could be, right? What could have led to it, what could have, right? And knowing the whole time that you're guessing, right? That you don't really know, but trying to understand things is an act of love. Trying to understand someone is an act of love. Trying to understand a situation is an act of love to it, right? Trying to understand the world or our place in life is an act of love, is an act of gratitude, even, right? To be curious, to search, to look at different things, different cultures, right? To explore the world and how we feel about it and what's inside of us and what other people have inside of them. To explore that is an act of gratitude and love for the world and for life, right? Which is healing, which is absolutely what I believe the point is of being here, at least for someone like me, right? Is to connect with like honesty and truth and both my truth and being honest with myself, and then also finding the truth in other people's words, right? Finding honesty in other people, right? Being able to see what is true for someone and what isn't true for them, right? For their soul, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, right? What part is a mask and what part is actually them, right? Trying to understand this and integrate it and find your way through it is an act of gratitude and love, and like it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Again, I haven't done a reading like this before, but I actually really liked that, and it felt very easy and natural, because I know the situation right for myself, and I know how I've been helping myself through it, and what I've been thinking and what I've been going through, right? So it came very naturally to talk about it and put that in a way that I think can help others. So I may start doing more readings in this kind of way instead of just I'll probably still do the other ones too, but I do like this a lot. I do like this a lot. If you liked it, let me know. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you in the next one.